What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Starchasers Girls Talk Ball. As you know, it's your girl Craven Cowboys. As you know, I got my girl Starchaser, aka Star, with me. How you doing today, Star?
What's up? What's up, Mickey? What's up, everybody in the chat? Glad to see everybody. Sorry for the little delay. Had some technical issues because StreamYard hates us. But other than that, glad to see everybody tonight in the chat. Please like and share the video. Please like and share the video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm still 9 away from... No. I'm still 11 away from 200. So if y'all could help me get to 200, I know there's a lot of y'all to be watching on X and all that stuff. So please subscribe. I know y'all watching on X, but just head over to my YouTube channel. Click that link. It's reposted on our page, on my page, because you posted the link. Yeah. So it's reposted, and help Mickey too, because I think Mickey, are you at 200 yet or 199? So
yeah, actually did. I got 201 now. So yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you.
That's what's up. So y'all got. Woo. So y'all got Mickey.
Yeah, let's get started. Like you said, she 11 away. Like that's nothing. Look, like I already know it's at least 11 of y'all over there on X right now. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. Just go ahead and subscribe and go ahead and like it. Y'all like the content. I got almost 2,000 of y'all on X. Like, come on, help me, please. Help my YouTube channel grow, please. That'd be greatly appreciated. But help both of us grow, because we want to eventually get to 2,000. I mean, 1,000, 2,000. Yeah. So help us for sure.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Like Star was saying, hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're on Twitter, give us a like, give us a retweet. Help us get our voices out there. That's all we want. Like I said, we're still baby content creators. We're trying to grow our voice. It's the off season. It's the grind season. You know what I'm saying? So this is the time to do it. No better time than doing it right now when you think no one's watching, and really people really are still watching. People still looking for that football content. So this is the time to do it. This time we're trying to do it. And like we said, just trying to grow our voices. So thank you everybody joining us on this Wednesday evening. Before we get too deep into the show, I was just kind of rewatching the intro before we get into the show, rewatching the intro to our show star. Let's just be honest, y'all. Like a lot of those players that's in the intro are really not going to be here next year. So it's going to have a whole different look. Free agency, was crazy last week. Cowboys didn't really participate, too much in the first couple of days. Really the first week, and we're being honest, where they decide to, give assign Kendricks, to the defense linebacker, Eric Kendricks from the Chargers, and they did, re-sign the long snapper, Yon, you know what I'm saying, and I don't know if you guys seen that tweet, I would bring it up, but I'm sure all Cowboys fans know out there that the departure list for the Cowboys free agency is miles longer than the acquisition list. What's your thoughts on that, Star? Because I think I already have a feeling of what your thoughts are, but just like any other Cowboys fans out there. But what's your thoughts on
honestly, I'm a little bit different in what I think about our departures, to be honest. The only departure right now that I'm a little bit sad about is Jonathan Hankins. I did want to bring him back. Because I knew he would be cheap, and defensive tackle is the one position where you pretty much gotta draft like a generational player in like the top 10 picks in order to get them to really produce in their rookie season, right? Now they're gonna have flashes, but just like Mozzie had flashes and Osa had flashes his rookie year, they're gonna have flashes if they have talent, but
and
truly dominant
is a great example of a DT who is able to establish who he is, and to be able to. That's what we want to see: someone who's able to establish who they are and to be able to progress each year that they play in the game.
Right, and it just takes a while. Even Dexter Lawrence for the Giants. He's all pro now, but he wasn't all pro his rookie year. It takes about 3 years for them to put on the proper weight and stuff like that, and learn the techniques to be able to be in those trenches and get beat up, down in and down out, because it's a lot that, you're having to handle basically 600 pounds every snap that they're on the field because you got two guards that are, that you're taking up, so
yeah.
But so he was pretty much the only free agent, believe it or not, that I was sad to lose. I mean, everybody else, Tyler Biotish was on my absolutely cannot bring back list.
Right.
LVE was on my absolutely cannot bring back list. J-Ron Curse is on my absolutely cannot bring back list. And I'm only saying this for Curse because at this point, we just have so many young safeties. With him here, those guys are never going to see the field. Izzy McQuamu is going into his fourth year now because he was the same draft class as Osa.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, when are these guys ever going to see the field of J-Ron Curse? I'm sorry, but he cannot be here any longer. I appreciate J-Ron. I appreciate his leadership, what he brought to us these last 3 years, but he can't be brought back. Something is telling me he probably going to be brought back because I'm like, you should have been signed to the Commanders by now.
You really think? It's crazy. I was talking to my dad about this the other day. I thought, like you said, I thought he'd be the first one of the first guys over there in Washington, following Quinn.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But he's not over there. Clearly, he wants to stay in Dallas. I know he's got kids and a baby, a fiance or whatever. So maybe it's like he just wants to stay here because his family's here and he's just willing to take whatever. I really don't know what he's doing, but I really don't want him back other than to be a depth piece. But the thing is, if they bring him back, they're going to have him on the field. But everybody else, like Fowler, I also wanted.
Do you know if Curse was in Minnesota? Do you know if Curse was in Minnesota when Zimmer was over there?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a connection, you know what I'm saying? But I just think that Curse.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Like
he's just he's just a progress stopper at this point. And I think the rest of the guys, like Dorrance Armstrong, love Dorrance Armstrong, but he's just a rotational guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not nothing special, and he got way overpaid by the Commanders. But more power to him. Get your bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I'm just not really worried about it. I did want Fowler back. I do think Fowler could have, done a great job for us with the elevated role. But I mean, he said was going to be a backup because they was going to play Sam Williams over him anyways. Like, we already know that. We're betting the house on Sam Williams. This will be his third year. So this is the year they're trying to get all the draft picks. They're trying
to get the use out of all of them.
They're trying to get. This is the year that front office they're betting the house on the young guys. That's what they're doing. They're keeping their foundational pieces, supposedly, according to Steven. He said going all into them is keeping their foundation. He said Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. So they want to keep their foundation, and they want to let all these drafted guys that have barely seen the field in the past 3 years.
Right.
All of our rookies that was on the bench pretty much last year.
Yeah.
They're gonna be playing. Steven is betting the house on the drafted guys. Is that smart? We don't know, and I will say this too, like, there's still a lot now, not in the defensive tackle realm. There's not a lot of veteran D tackles left. I'm not gonna say a lot to you because I looked it up on Spot Track. I could show y'all. Can I share my screen on this thing?
You should be able to. It should be like right where at the bottom where it says.
Let me see if I can actually do it. If it don't let me do it, I gotta do extra shit. I ain't doing it.
Yeah. Well, like she was saying, and actually before I get into that, shout out to Tavis in the building. What's going on?
What up, Keystone?
And I tweeted this to Star. Like I'm definitely excited to see what Fehoko can do. Step into the sea. I'm excited to see him. Of course, Agent O, Overshown coming in. We like Star said, like Steven is like she said, he is betting the house. On the coming in, but it all can be a good thing. Like she said, I haven't really seen a lot from our draft picks, unfortunately. And it's a good and bad thing, but of course we don't want to bet like Star said, betting the house on some young guys coming in. We don't want to have all rookie, even going into the draft this season. You know, when they're looking at running backs, of course, because we brought Dowdle back, but we're going to have to draft a running back. So to be able to have this much stock, you know what I'm saying, into these guys is we're definitely going to see the cost of it, going into the season.
Yep. But yeah, this is about who we got left for the free agent D tackle. There's not a lot. Like Richard Cox, he's retired clearly.
Right.
These guys, Austin Johnson, I don't know who that is. Moan, I don't know who that is. Tier Tar. Now, Tier Tar is a guy I really like. And he's a young guy. I think he's really got some good upside. But have we
as one of the top?
Right? Have we contacted him? Probably not. So it's like, but I would like if they brought Tier Tar in, I'd be pleased with that.
Right.
Raheem Nunez Roches, he's a journeyman guy, but he's kind of good. But I think he's more of a 3-tech guy than a 1-tech, because we're really looking for a 1-tech is what we're looking for. We got 3-techs. We don't really have a 1-tech besides Mozzie and Carl Davis. People have been saying, go ahead.
But honestly, we don't like you mentioned Hankins going to Seattle. And not just him being a pivotal piece in the defense, being a run stopper, but really being the only big body guy we had in the middle to be able to stop the run.
Yeah.
Like as we had with Dan Quinn, having guys coming in who are undersized. I think of course we can see with Dan Quinn it was more quality than it was more quantity than quality. So now we're kind of, I don't want to say stuck, but we're kind of left with these options of course, a quality, like Star said, 3-techs or DTs, D edges switching positions. But so now we're stuck having to trying to find one solid piece. And now to replace Hankins, it'd be one thing if we're trying to find a piece to kind of complement Hankins. You know what I'm saying? Or even complement Osa. But now we're trying to find a piece to replace. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know what we're going to get out of Mozzie going into the season, of course. So it's just like
right.
Even more holes, you know what I mean? Even more holes.
Yeah. So you definitely, you got these guys. Like I said, if y'all know some of these guys on the list, I know Tier Tar, I know Marlon Davidson, young guys. These are guys, but I think even Marlon Davidson, I think may be let me look up real fast. Marlon Davidson's
wasn't Nunez Roches, wasn't he on the Bucks when they
Yeah, he was on the Bucks, but then he was on the Bucks at the beginning of the 2022 season. But it looks like here that he was actually on the Giants this past season.
Okay.
But I like Raheem Nunez Roches. I'm gonna look up the weights of both of those guys, Raheem and also Marlon Davidson, to see if those would even be like formidable guys. But, you got people like Will McClay will go and get somebody from the USFL and they'll turn out to be good. Right. I'm not too concerned because they're doing it's combined now because they combined the USFL and the XFL league.
Right.
So, but, there's some guys that after this season, NFL teams will be looking at. And, we've hit gold. We've gotten 2 All-Pros from the USFL guys. So this is things that we have to look at. Y'all know, if y'all been following me on X, I in no way caping for the front office. Y'all done put out ideas about boycotting, what we can do. Well, my version of boycotting, so read my post, is pinned. But I've done this because I'm like, we're not just gonna buy into the BS. But the facts of the matter is, it's still a lot of free agents left. I went through and looked at the cornerbacks, wide receivers. There's a lot of free agents left, guys. There's a lot, and there's players that are worth a damn, not just trash. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
that's
will
a great
will
point.
The Cowboys get? Yeah, go ahead, Mickey.
No, I was going to say that's a great point that you bring up, Stark. That's actually something we actually discussed off camera about necessarily, like you said, like we just spoke about not too long ago about the Cowboys not necessarily hitting in last year's draft. And that's kind of what the Cowboys have really hung their hat on, really being draft guys, drafting and developing. And me and Star and also Jazz, aside the bitches love sports, we spoke about what the Cowboys can now lay their hat on as far as if they can't hit in the draft. what's going to be their next moves? Like Star just mentioned, looking at undrafted free agents, looking at guys who weren't picked, of course, in the first 7 rounds, and they've been hitting on it. We kind of named off some players that they've gotten. TJ Bass, Marquise Bell. He came from HBCU, but he came on undrafted. They have other players, Rico, who they just unsigned, who just re-signed, who's undrafted. Yes, he wasn't necessarily a big name, but he's someone who's familiar with our scheme, and he didn't necessarily get all the snaps, what I think he deserved last year, especially with the Taylor scheme. So I think it'll be exciting to see what they, like Star just mentioned, to see what they can do, looking at undrafted free agents and looking at some of the guys who may not necessarily, like Star spoke about, just guys who may not always be on everyone's radar. So they can be some sneaky picks out there that we may not even be aware of, and maybe the Cowboys may not be aware until they actually get to that point after the draft and that process of looking at some of those guys. So we could like Star said, we can still strike goals, and not just in undrafted, like Star mentioned, in XFL, USFL. Some of those guys looking to kind of revamp their career, looking to kind of have a second surge, maybe
having a second surge, right? We don't know. We don't know. That's what I told myself I'm gonna try to be a little bit just more reserved on Twitter, because as far as like talking about the free agency and stuff like that, because I'm like, honestly, like all we can do is let it pan out. And once we know what our team looks like come August, then I think that's when we'll know how we need to proceed forward as a fan base. Right now, we don't know. But look at this. This is the list of free agent cornerbacks. Like, there's a lot of guys. I'm not saying we're going to get any of these guys. I don't know. But when you look at this list, Xavier Howard, J.C. Jackson, Adoree Jackson, Stephon Gilmore. I have an unpopular opinion about Stephon. Everybody wants to bring Stephon back, and I said, I'm fine with bringing Stephon back, but as a depth piece, I don't want Stephon starting. Stephon is 33 years old, guys. And we already could tell last year he lost a step, and this year he's going to lose another step. Love him. I think he's great, but he's kind of in that level of him and Patrick Peterson. They're more cerebral, but their bodies cannot do what it once did. It's not going to get any better. You know what I'm saying? Like, Stephon was getting got
late last season.
Got hurt. He was getting got in the Green Bay game from first year. Wide receivers.
Not just Green Bay.
It's just what it is.
Yeah. I think as early as the Patriots game, we started seeing glimpses of Gilmore going from trying to keep up sideline to sideline, and he couldn't keep up.
He couldn't keep up, but I know people are like, well, they put him on. Yeah, they put him on DK, and that did work. You know what I'm saying? And he did turn up versus AJ Brown, but in the playoffs when he was playing them young cats from Green Bay with no experience, he was getting got. He gave up 2 touchdowns in the playoffs too. So I'm just saying, love Gilly. I appreciate him coming over here. I think his leadership is okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say it's great. I'll say his leadership is okay because he was appointed captain for the Green Bay game. And did he do anything with his Super Bowl pedigree, Defensive Player of the Year pedigree? Did y'all see Gilly on the sideline talking to the guys or trying to rally? No, we did not see that. That's just the facts of the matter. I'm not hating on Gilly. I'm just saying we didn't see that Super Bowl Defensive Player of the Year pedigree from him in the Green Bay game. That doesn't mean he's a bad corner. It doesn't mean he's a bad leader. And I do know he's a soft-spoken guy too. So I get all of that. But as you see here, there's a list of guys, former, young guys, former first round or, high round picks. I just think that if you see this list, like there's guys you can go out there and get to fill holes. Are the Cowboys going to do it? I don't know. But we'll see. But we do have people coming back. It just depends on who they're going to be coming back, like Diggs, like Agent O. I don't know. We hope that they're great. They come back. Of course, they're going to be a little bit – it's going to take them a while to get in the swing of things. But, it does help that both of them got hurt at the beginning of the season. You remember Agent O got hurt in preseason. Diggs got hurt week 2 of the season, right before the Cardinals game, which was week 3. So, I don't know, guys. Well, I think, with these free agents, it's just something that we have to see. But McClay has not really missed on bringing in free agent, undrafted USFL players. He hasn't missed yet. Maybe he'll miss this year and we'll be dead to rights. I don't know.
Right. I mean, we're really looking at some real Russian roulette going into the season in 2024 with the Cowboys. It's like, and before we get at least, even before everything just kind of imploded in front of our faces, we could kind of go on. We kind of had like a base to go off of. Okay, we had a certain amount of needs that we knew we needed. We wanted to stop the run and we wanted to improve our run game. So we had to improve running back and of course beef up our defense. Most importantly the defensive line, and also at second level. We're definitely lacking in linebackers, but. Going into the season now with so many free agents gone, that's not necessarily saying that these free agents were stable pieces, but at least before we had depth pieces, now losing those depth pieces, now you're looking to try to plug those holes and trying to looking for second plugs for those holes when the first ones go out. So it's you're kind of looking at more holes, you're looking at more problems, and you're looking at new staff. New coaching, it was one thing last year to switch up the scheme, switch up play calling, and that was kind of this one wrench you kind of threw with the team. But now you're throwing new scheme, new coaches, new players. It's going to be a whole conundrum going into the 2024 season.
I think they definitely got a task, but. I will say it again, all the players that we lost, in my opinion, including Tyron Smith, like those were players that some of them should go, some of them needed to go, and some of them could go. Like you can go, you know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel about it. Besides Hankins and Fowler, those were, and J. Lou or Gilly, those are pretty much out of that long list of free agents that we had. Right. That was pretty much all I cared about bringing back. So I don't know how other people feel, but we definitely got depth. But the fact of the matter is our depth is young, and that's why people say you got holes, because they're saying these guys have little to no experience.
Right. Yeah.
But Stephen Jones is betting the house on these young guys. But another thing, so we talked to y'all about free agents, so that's where our head at is regarding the free agents and what this team is looking like right now. There's a lot of people going around. We're gonna be 8-9. We'll be lucky to win. 9 games next year. I don't know. I'm not gonna be saying all of that because we thought that same thing in 2022. We said we was tanking. It was wide receiver by committee again. Dak was hurt. I mean, I remember game 1 when Dak got hurt. I said season's over. Over.
Yeah. There was
Then we end up winning all the games and making playoffs and going deep in the playoff. It was weird, but I'm just saying, like, guys, we just don't know. That's the reality of our team. We're a weird team. Right. We're a very weird team where it looks like we should suck. We're going to win 5 games next year, and then we somehow go to the playoffs and blow teams out. But I don't know.
Without our quarterback, and that's what we're looking at now. We're going through the season talking about Dak leaving the team, so we're definitely in a different state of mind as far as looking at our team.
Yeah, that's another thing too. That's nothing we should talk about. We didn't have it on this list, but how Dak approved the team of doing those voidable years, basically having him on the books till 2028. Which is a good sign that he's likely going to be re-signed, because if you're trying to get rid of a quarterback, you don't extend his money, and you guarantee that you got to pay Dak Prescott $40 million next year. You know what I'm saying? So it's all pointing signs, and from hearing from Steven say that he talked to Dak. Y'all remember last week I said Dak needed to have a sit-down talk with Jerry and Steven. It looks like Dak had that talk with Jerry and Steven. So we'll see what happens. I don't really know what's taking so freaking long, though. At this point, they're working together, but I'm like, I thought the news would have been out like Monday. I thought they were going to hit us on Monday. Dak Prescott extended, but I don't know what they're doing. That's the thing. Like, no one knows what the Cowboys are doing ever. You know, like no one knows. No one knows. No one gets it. We just can go off of what it looks like. It just looks like they're gonna bet the house on the drafted guys. That's what it looks like. They're betting everything on the drafted guys.
And we know, and like Star mentioned earlier, we don't know, how it looks. We don't know what they look like last year in practice. Maybe maybe the Cowboys see something in these young players, in practice. We didn't get to see them in games, but
we never got to.
And granted, they may have been running maybe running second team with Trey Lance or even Cooper Rush, but like maybe I mean we have to see these guys eventually, right? Like we necessarily want to see these guys at the same time, all at once, all starting. You know what I'm saying? But eventually we're gonna have to see what we do have, and unfortunately it's gonna come at a time where we like I said earlier, it's going in the mix of new scheme, new coaches, all that. But like Star said, maybe we can have some weird luck. Maybe like I said, we're a team. Like it's all about how you develop these guys, and if we can come in with a good scheme, something that they can understand. Zimmer having been there before, maybe he can find some kind of way to connect with the players, and maybe they might be able to, like, maybe the young guys might be able to connect with him as well. They may not be able to connect on the, hey, he's a cool uncle with his hat backwards and things like that, but maybe like Wanya Thomas and other players on locker room I mentioned, maybe they want to be coached like that. Maybe they want to be have one a hard-nosed coach. Maybe they want someone who breaks it down to the fundamentals. Maybe they need to learn those fundamentals first, so that way they can be able to progress in the game of football, not just on the field but mentally as well. Maybe they have it physically, and just need that just kind of that mental kick in the ass. Just kind of get them more involved.
And it's also just gonna take the players. The players really got to step up with leadership.
Right? Yeah.
You're gonna have to win. You're gonna have to win in spite of the front office. You know what I'm saying? Just like Troy said, when they won the last Super Bowl, we gotta win in spite of the coaching. Right. We gotta win in spite of the front office. And is it likely? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Right. But doesn't mean it's not impossible. Doesn't mean it cannot happen. We just kind of gotta let the season play out. It really
takes someone just to step up into that role, like we seen Mike about it.
Those emotional leaders. It's the emotional leaders that this team needs. Right. In game, we need emotional leaders in game. Right. That can rally the troops when we're not playing well.
Not in the media.
Right. In the game.
None of that. And on the field Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon, whenever y'all playing, y'all got to bring the intensity and show and keep it going. Don't just have it in the first quarter. Don't just have it when you're winning. Have it also when you're losing. Have it when you're behind. Have it, just try to figure out how to come from behind. That's one thing I definitely want to see going into this season, of how they climb from behind. You hate to see your team behind, yes. No one wants to see their team losing. That's also part of the game. So, you got to be able to face, come against these obstacles and see.
You gotta have fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we want to see from the team this year. And one last thing I'll say about this, and then we could talk about LBE and Al Harris. Is that looking at the landscape, of the current powerhouse teams in the NFC and AFC. Like I said this yesterday to Mickey and Jazz from Bitches Love Sports, like this offseason is drunk because it's like everybody. I do agree. I just read something. I think Mike Fisher posted an article of what Steven said, and he was like, this free agency market is super inflated. And I'm like, I agree. Because these contracts that these teams are giving out to these players is crazy. Like,
especially just a year ago, y'all was looking at running backs. Yeah, the running back had to have a Zoom meeting talking about
y'all wanted like Tony Pollard. Like these contracts are crazy. I looked at it. I was like, oh my gosh. But because that's a spot track that got everything.
I talked to my dad about this, and they're signing multiple year contracts. Last year, you had to scrape for money and just for a 1 year contract. All of a sudden, you see running backs getting 2 year contracts. I think
it's crazy. Like, look at this. Josh Jacobs.
What's up, James?
Josh Jacobs, average per year, is $12 million. Saquon Barkley almost $13 million. Right. DeAndre Swift $8 million. Tony Pollard $7 million. Devin Singletary $5 million. Derrick Henry $8 million. You know what I'm saying? Like Aaron Jones $7 million. Like these guys are getting major contracts. I mean, you look at the linebackers.
This last year was $6 million. They had to scrape for $6 million.
Yeah, look at this. Bryce Huff. The Eagles just signed Bryce Huff from the New York Jets. $17 million. Daniil Hunter, $24 million. Patrick Queen, $13 million. Aziz Al-Shahir. He played this guy played last year for like a couple $1 million. You know how much he's getting paid this year? Average per year? $11.3 million.
Yo,
like, do y'all see? Oh, it's like a major jump. It's not just like, oh, it's a little bit. No, it's like, boom. You know what I'm saying?
That rise was crazy. That cap rise was crazy. If they get running backs who had to, like I mentioned earlier, had to have a whole Zoom meet. They were talking about, I don't know what they were talking about, y'all, but if you having a whole Zoom meeting, you talking about doing something to try to change the market, try to change their mind.
It wasn't the running backs. It was teams seeing the final four teams that was in them championship games. They was like, well, we know what we need: running backs and linebackers. It's crazy how the NFL is going backwards. See, first it was this, and it moved to it's a passing league. But now, look at these contracts that the linebackers and the running backs got. If anything, that should tell you teams are going back to running the ball and being able to stop the run.
Absolutely.
The defensive tackle contracts. I mean, I can keep telling y'all the numbers, but I want to move on. But it is inflated. There's a lot going on. These teams is drunk. Everybody just spending and blowing money. Will it work out for them? I don't know. We'll see.
And another thing that we're doing that Star, we talked about it last night too. We talked about how, we talked about microwave success, that quick success that they want. They want to sign players because they see the Chiefs, they see the Bucks. In previous year, we see who were the Rams signing multiple free agents to try to beef up their team. So they're kind of trying to follow the trend a little bit. But guess who's not following the trend? I mean, and we'll see if it works out for you never like Star said, like we're a team. You never know what could work for the team. Not signing free agents could work, but we're definitely going to see that this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're going to see it this year because I don't think we've seen a team. Even when we've had like wide receiver by committee teams, we've always had free agents. Now they've been bargain based free agents.
You know what I'm saying?
They've been bargain bin. Last year was probably the best free agents we got out,
right.
Or they wasn't even free agents. Those were trades, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
exactly.
But this year it looks like Steve, and we don't have to get free agents, guys, obviously. Like Will McClay's gonna get some guys from the USFL. They're gonna get some guys from the NFL free agency. They just not doing it right now. I think they are doing what we don't want them to do, which is going to the draft. They're going to draft the guys, and then they're going to say, okay, let's see the holes that we need to fill, and then they're going to start signing a bunch of guys to go to camp. That's what they're going to do.
Right.
I don't really see them signing any more free agents right now, and it looks like teams are not really signing many free agents right now. Everything is completely slowed down. So
exactly.
Everybody now is like, all right, we got our guys that we think we needed to get right now. We're going to head into the draft. Yep. We'll see who we get in the draft. And then whoever we don't have, then we will start signing the rest of these guys that are left in the free agency. So we'll see what they roll out. And depending on what they roll out, that's we're going to have a plan for that. But in good news, Al Harris was promoted to assistant head coach. So congrats. I wish we had sound effects, but we don't. But congrats to
we on the way to that. We're on the way to that, y'all.
We're gonna get it soon. If I can figure out my interface of having my stuff through my other database, and we can have like sound effects, stuff like that. But Shout out to Al Harris becoming head coach. Mickey, what did you think about him? I mean, not head coach, sorry, assistant head coach. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we jumped ahead. LVE retired, guys. I know you already know that, but shout out to the Wolf Hunter retiring.
Yeah, I even tweet on Twitter. Like I don't know why I felt like he had been here for like 10 years. It literally felt like 10 years to me. But they say he's only here for 6 years, and so
6 years. That's how we got him. Yeah, and it's very sad because looking at his 2018 season, you just could see all pro, possible Hall of Famer, but and his body couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Someone, especially a player so mentally sound as LVE, that's all you really heard about him from the team, from the coaches to the players. That he had the mental side of the game down. You know what I'm saying? He could tell you what they want to. You can look at the other side of the ball and tell what they're going to call. He was the green dot of the defense, so he didn't move guys around, put guys in position and be able to go from there. So, but as Star just mentioned, like you said, salute to him. But it's definitely unfortunate because this game is definitely a dangerous game, and it can get to the point where some of these guys have to make that decision, going forward, looking at their future, and like Star said, like just him having his time here was important for the Cowboys, but also for him because he was able to have that 2018 year, and he was able to, his teammates continuously lift him up. He always has that encouragement. And they even still want him in the locker room, and the Cowboys, hey, give him a coaching position, have him somewhere on the sideline. Even
I would love to have LVE, just like we wanted Sean Lee back for a coach. I would love to have LVE back as a coach. And honestly, when you hear Micah and Wanye and everybody talk about it, because they knew that he was going to retire, but they were just waiting for him to announce it. These guys love LVE. They love him. They think he's not only a brother, but he was a leader on that field. And we have to be honest, the defense without LVE looked totally different. Not saying that LVE was a thumper and he flew down. I'm not saying that, but he had guys in the right position.
Right. And we even saw that prior to him going. We saw that in the year prior when he went out just before the playoffs.
Yes, we definitely saw that. We definitely saw what the defense looked like without LVE. And I always say, regardless of what you want to say about LVE, in the the important games of the year, both of them was against San Fran. He had his best games. Right. So he was a guy.
I would say even before he went out in the San, and actually that was actually, I guess I'll say a full circle moment. Because I think it was the San Fran game that he went out in. I think this past year, and that was kind of
it was dirty Trent Williams, and I don't care what nobody say. It was dirty. I don't care. It was dirty. Trent Williams.
And I think I was on that side of the end zone when he actually went out the game, walking out that side of the end zone. So it was definitely unfortunate. But people and it wasn't just Cowboys fans; it was 49 fans as well. cheering. They was able to get up and walk to the locker room, on his own. But I'm not gonna lie, you can kind of see look on his face, and I'm sure all people felt that way at the moment. But this is kind of the sadness of there's really this uncertainty of really from that moment on what he could do, because we know he got injured before. So just kind of witnessing that moment, it was just it was kind of a full circle. Like he really gives us all in these games, and we saw how the Cowboys kind of felt going into that game. They kind of hyped it, not saying they hyped it up, but it was an important game, week 5. The opponent. So just seeing that how much these guys that we hoped had got up for the game, and just seeing kind of go down in that moment, which was just kind of he really gives us all for the team, not just in certain moments, but it was unfortunate that later in his career that he started kind of making, I guess you call it, business decisions where he didn't really want to make those hits, but just still having the impact up until his last play, still having that impact on the team, and even up until this moment, even up to this moment, just the team still wanting him to be around. That it really just shows his impact on the team. That even as fans that we may not know, but it just feels good that you're able to see that imprint that he's made on the team. Just as long as he's right there.
Yep. So. Yeah, I know a lot of fans hated LVE, said he was trash, yada, 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 and everybody's entitled to their opinions. But I always said LVE was loved in that locker room, and he's definitely going to be missed. And I do hope that somehow he is brought back in some type of coaching position, because I think it will be great for the players. And he's a young guy, too. He's on 26, 27. Yeah. He has a lot of energy left, and I think it'll be great. So we'll see what they do in the future as far as LBE. But anyway, moving on to Al Harris as the assistant head coach. So I know a lot of people said that it's ass backwards because they're like, well, technically that means he's over Zimmer and all of this stuff. But anyway, what you think about the promotion?
I mean, I was gonna say I'm definitely happy for Al. Like, he's definitely had, his tenure here is definitely, definitely would deserve. I wish it had been. Honestly, I wish that would have been happened before. You know what I'm saying? And especially with Quinn being here, I don't know if he would have been assistant to Quinn or McCarthy. With Quinn being here, not sure if they would have put Harris over Quinn. But I just like that he's able to get that recognition. Maybe that's what they told him, so that way he wouldn't lead the team. You know what I'm saying? That that stands to be, just putting that out there. I'm sure, other people feel the same way. It's just like, I'm glad they kept him here, honestly, because that, kind of like how, we lost, we didn't lose stable pieces, but Hankins, to me, in my opinion, Hankins was like kind of a stable piece of our defense. I would have had that kind of like that gut wrenching feeling if Harris would have left. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been like, okay, well, he's a very important piece of our defensive staff, and we see how close he is with the guys. Diggs, Bland. We see the progression. Even Wanye coming up. You know what I'm saying? And we see the potential of some of our corners. And like Star said, we just haven't really been able to see them in a lot of playing time. But we just see, just like I was talking about with LBE, we see his impact on the team and just how close he is, and not even just the defense. Like, we see the relationship he has with Dak last year. Dak talked about how he goes to Al Harris. CD talked about it, how he goes to Harris and asks him, And that's just the defensive side.
I think what's going to be important with Al Harris and what people are missing with Al Harris. First of all, I'm going to say this. I don't know this for sure, but I'm probably like 80% positive. Al Harris was promoted by Mike McCarthy. So it don't have nothing to do. I know people say, "Oh, did that mean he gonna be head? If Mike leaves, he'll be head coach." No, I don't believe that. Right? But I think Mike put Al in that position because he wanted one. Dan Quinn done tried to steal all of Mike's damn staff. Right? He done tried to steal every person possible. Right? And so was able to block. And we don't know if Al Harris wanted to go or not. Everybody's just assuming that because he did do that interview and said if Dan Quinn went to Alaska, he would follow him, right? But anyway, I think Mike McCarthy promoted Al Harris to show him. Basically, he's appointing Al Harris like, you're my general. You're my guy that I can trust. I trust you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you. Because we don't know the talks that him and Mike had, but I'm sure for him to move up to this position. And he told Zimmer, Al Harris will be staying, like pretty much because pretty much all the defensive staff that did not go with Dan Quinn, they're still here. There was nobody that was like fired or anything like that. So I really do think this is going to be a huge move as well. Why? Because it's basically like Mike McCarthy gets to have that emotional leader that he's not. Because Mike McCarthy is not an emotional leader. He's not an inspiring guy. He's a good coach. He's a good head coach. He's very cerebral, very organized, very detailed, but he's not that guy that talks to the locker room and gets him fired up per se. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And so I think that now he added Al Harris in to be that voice, and he's going to establish a different type of culture because the players have a different level of respect for him. And I think putting him in that position will help the players buy in, because a lot of people are talking about, are the players really going to buy in? They know Mike McCarthy's on a 1-year deal. They know Zimmer's on a 1-year deal. And I think Mike put Al in that position to basically be the filter because he knows the players love him. And if Al's over them, they're going to do right. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
See, if they just had Zim, maybe they wouldn't, because they'd be like, you may only be here for 1 year. We ain't going to pay attention. Yada. So now he's got, and Zim has Al now to be that liaison between him and the player. So I think it's a great move. That's what
they already have a rapport with Harris. Like you just mentioned, they already have that relationship established. They had the I think it's called the across the hall, where the offense and defense kind of get
across the hall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Harris really, already, I'm gonna say already over the offense, but they already had that relationship with them. So even taking up that leadership role, like Star just mentioned, like they already had that respect for him. They already know, really, what he's about. Like Star mentioned, he has that he already has that energy. So like now having the official position, he's able to be in that locker room, able to be in that position, able to talk to these guys as the assistant, and that like Star to hopefully be able to put more fire to these guys. They already have, I'm sure they already have fire. I know they come into the game already, playing as they are, but it's being able to instill more fire to these guys, instill more passion. That's really what we're longing for as fans. Even like Star said, not even just on the field, on the sideline. We just want to see some passion. We just want to see not emotion like emotion.
And we know Al Harris from the sounds of the sideline. He is that emotional guy. He is hype. He is talking to players. But now Mike has empowered him so that he not only feels like I can only focus on defense, but now I can focus on the whole team. It was a great empowerment move by Mike McCarthy, and I hope that it's going to do what he's expecting it to do, which is rally the troops. Keep the guys bought in, because even though this is the last year on Mike McCarthy's contract, I do think Mike McCarthy wants to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I do think that, and I'm hoping that he's not going to sabotage. Yes, I say sabotage like Dan Quinn. I do hope that he's not going to sabotage us like Dan Quinn, and I do hope that he's doing all he can really to get the staff to really buy in and just put their all into this year, because next year it's not promised for none of them.
Right.
None of them. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're here and y'all are serious about really winning a championship, it's going to take all hands on deck. And you're going to have to win in spite of the front office. But
yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you just said that, Star. That's absolutely correct. It's definitely going to take all hands, not just like there's so much that's really been just thrown in the air with these Cowboys. It's going to take these young players stepping up into these moments. Like, and we saw, and it's a really good thing. And me and Star talked about this last year. If you guys have been following us for that long, we talked about this last year about these young players having these moments to have the opportunity to be able to step up, because they can actually step into these moments. So, okay, your first phase is come in, learn the scheme of the team, get well acquainted with the veterans, see how you do in practice, you kind of get, kind of a street fire going on, and preseason training camp you see, but then, hopefully we see some of these guys not lose their fire, because yes, they are on the sideline. Yes, they have to sit behind the starters. But that's when you really get to see what the player is about. Like, are they going to keep that consistency? Are they going to keep up what you want to see them? Okay, yeah, you're running 17, but are you putting forth that same fire as if you're playing first team? So now is the time to step up. Okay, now you're going to have the opportunity. Now you're going to be the starter. Now you're going to be out there.
This is a step it up season. And I don't know, like, it sounds crazy, but at the same time, like, look at what the Chiefs did. You know what I'm saying? And we're not the Chiefs. I'm not saying that we're the Chiefs. But to say you can't win it all with young talent is not true. You can win it all with young talent. It's just about the coaches getting the young talent ready. And will the coaches get the young talent ready? That's the $1 million question. But you can't say that you cannot win with young talent, because you absolutely can. You can't say that you can't be a playoff team with young drafted talent, because that's what the Packers did. They almost knocked off the 2nd and the 1 seed. You can't say, look at the young talent on the Lions. Those rookies made all the difference on that team.
Absolutely.
So let's not in the free agents that they brought in didn't do much. It was their drafted guys that took a step forward.
Right.
So.
And the Texans, look as well. They were a young team last year as well.
Who you say?
The Texans.
Who you say? Yeah, the Texans. Look at that. They was pretty much all rookies.
Yeah, exactly.
They was almost all rookies,
if you will. And the Miko Ryan, rookie head coach.
They was full of rookie, second, third year players. Look at the Rams. The Rams didn't have no draft picks. They was living off of their 4th and 5th round draft picks, and they was right back in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Only missing 1 year.
Right.
So don't sit here and tell me you can't do well with just young players. I don't believe that. But go ahead, what you say?
Now I was gonna say, like, it was in the preseason where Stafford was talking about he felt like he couldn't connect with the young players, because he felt he was not in the bad way. He felt he was so much older than the young players. He felt like he couldn't connect with them. And like Star mentioned, at the end of the season, they're in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So or then in the
So it can happen. It can happen, absolutely. Will it happen for us?
Mentioned like with Green Bay being so young, they mentioned that that was kind of like the storyline of when we were playing them. But then they showed the same numbers that the Cowboys were only like a few months younger than the Green Bay team themselves as far as the young guys. So they weren't that much younger than the Packers. So it's like Star mentioned.
Exactly.
And speaking of these young guys coming, Cowboys. Well, the league had their pro day visits. Solari went.
Yep. Pro days. I was trying to bring up the list, but because I don't have all the names, I was trying to bring up the names of the guys for these or the standout prospects. Obviously,
I got Nick Harris. Well, he has the list of the players for.
Okay,
Bama.
yeah, well, go ahead and bring it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna just bring up Bama, and then I'll bring up Texas because but he doesn't have the list for Arizona.
I think pretty much. So the only person that went out to Arizona was Solari. He was clearly working out Jordan Morgan. He had a private workout, so that's something for us to take note of. Okay. Solari did a private workout with Jordan Morgan, so for sure, if he's there at 24, that's definitely a guy that they're going to consider. You know what I'm saying? So, that's a name to be looking out for. Jordan Morgan, which obviously is one of the top tackled prospects in the draft. Very likely that he drops us because 4 quarterbacks are it's being projected 4 quarterbacks are going to go in the top 4 picks. Oh, it's probably almost going to look like the 2021 draft where it's just quarterback. Right. And when that happens, that means a lot of talent will be pushed down to us. So on the look for Jordan Morgan. Now here's a list of guys. Shoddy went to the pro day today for. Mike went to the pro day for Alabama. And you can see J.C. Latham. Now, the only issue with J.C. Latham is he is a right tackle. It's not really an issue, but we have a hole on the left side, right? Not really in the right side. I know people have their thoughts about Terrence Steele, but guys, he was coming back off the injury. You know what I'm saying? And toward the end of the year, he would look better. I do think he'll return back to form this year. Now, if he doesn't, then we're going to have to figure it out. But, J.C. Latham, top guy. Terrion Arnold, top guy. And I think he's a guy that killed the Senior Bowl. Wasn't that Terrion Arnold that had all them interceptions, I think, at the Senior Bowl? I could be wrong, but I think it was him. And I know, the draft gurus, Vach, has him, number 1 corner in the draft, right? You got Kool-Aid McKinstry, which he's kind of slipped down draft boards because a couple of years ago he was projected to be the best corner in draft, but he's kind of dropped, but still a corner to look out for that you can develop. Dallas Turner, athletic freak, you know what I'm saying? Chris Braswell, Jermaine Burton. A lot of people are high on Jermaine Burton that you can get in probably the 3rd round, 3rd, 4th round. So, these are guys that Mike McCarthy, Mike McCarthy, our head coach, chose to go to Alabama's pro day. So he's probably looking at J.C. Latham and Jermaine Burton. You know what I'm saying? Those are probably the guys that he's looking at, to see these are guys that we could potentially get. J.C. Latham in the 1st, Jermaine Burton, bottom of 2nd, bottom of 3rd round guys that we could add to the roster. And then you got the Texas Pro Day. Mickey, you can go over that one, but
we got DT Byron Murphy the 2nd, T'Vondre Sweat, as we know, a big name that's really been going around. Really
a big name. But I'll point. Sorry, interrupting me, but I want to point out with Sweat is that he didn't test well. Now I don't know. Now, in his defense, y'all remember that Jalen Carter did not test well either, and then he blew it up. He blew off the charts. You know what I'm saying? For in the actual NFL. But T'Vondre Sweat did not test well at the combine. Now,
I didn't know that.
I don't know how. His RAS was terrible, real bad. Now I don't know how he did on his pro day. Maybe he did better. They haven't yet released that to see what he did on his pro day, how he looked out there. But that's a little question mark on T'Vondre. Now Byron Murphy, obviously killer 3 tech. You know what I'm saying? So that's a guy that could possibly fall to us.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy, wide receivers, Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell, running back Jonathan Brooks. Of course, they that's supposed to be a big name that the Cowboys are looking at. They said he has a 30-visit schedule with them. That the Cowboys took care of, the Cowboys medical staff took care of his surgery. When he was going through his injury, linebacker Jalen Ford and wide receiver Jordan Whittington. They said are among some of the draft schools. And Nick Harris. I'm sorry, I was going to say Nick Harris. Nick Harris. These out. If you guys aren't following him on Twitter, make sure you definitely follow him. He's definitely big. Him, Nicole Hutchinson, Aisha Morrison, definitely some names who are big in the draft community, especially during this time of year. And make sure you guys check out the draft shows. Well, I didn't catch it this week, but make sure you guys check out the draft show through the Dallas Cowboys on YouTube, or also through DallasCowboys.com. They offer a lot of information.
A lot of information. So check out the draft show. Check out the draft show. The Final Word Draft Show with Boss Cowboy, J Tuck, DMV, Big Game Law, the OC. Check out that every Thursday. Check out Vosh Lombardi's channel. Him and Brian Broaddus every Friday have been breaking down prospects. So definitely go around. J Tuck has been doing videos and stuff on prospects. So definitely go and look at those guys. We shout out all these content creators and the DallasCowboys.com people to look at, these draft guys so that you can get up to date and get information on these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like Mickey and I, we're not draft gurus. We're looking at the prospects and we're still developing, our insights and stuff like that on the draft and projections of these guys and stuff like that. But we just wanted to be able to put out that information, let y'all know kind of what's going on. And these are names that y'all should be looking out for, because obviously when we go to the pro days, when the coaches and the coordinators are going to the pro days, like we need to look at that. I don't know
especially when they don't go to the senior, they're not making the trip to go to the Senior Bowl, but when they actually making the effort to go to these pro days and actually start getting their, start trying to get their game plan going. Now, I wonder if do you know if Zimmer's going to attend in these pro days, or
that's what I was just about to say. They have not announced it yet if Zimmer is going to a pro day, but if he chooses to go, they will announce it. And y'all need to be looking at that as well, because that's going to give you a hint. Whoever pro day he goes to, whoever he's working out privately, y'all remember Dan Quinn would do that. Dan Quinn worked out Sam Williams privately. We drafted Sam Williams. So whenever you hear about private workouts, right? Whenever you hear about one of the coordinators or head coaches going to these pro days, you need to be looking at that school and seeing who are the prospects there, because 9 times out of 10, somebody from there is likely going to be on our roster going into the 2024 season. So definitely looking out for those prospects. And then I was able to pull up so far the confirmed 30 visits that we have so far is Edgerrin Cooper, who is a beast, one of the top linebackers in this draft. So you got Edgerrin Cooper, Brandon Coleman, which is an offensive tackle out from TCU, and then Travis Glover, which is an offensive tackle out of Georgia State. And 30 visits, guys, are super important. So I'm giving y'all, and I'll share my screen so y'all can see these names, but y'all want to start, when the 30 list visit starts to be formed, those are the players that you really, really, really want to look at. Because
and also, I'm gonna cut you off there, but also I seen an article earlier today, actually written and released by Mauricio Rodriguez as part of A to Z Sports. He actually said that another player, linebacker Trevin Wallace, is actually scheduled to have a top 30 visit. Had a draft with the Cowboys.
You said Trevin Wallace?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Mickey, you probably gotta stop sharing your screen so I can show this. Let me see. I'm gonna get it to click on. Here, there you go. Okay, so yes, these are, and so like Mickey said, add Trevin Wallace, but these are the guys right here that we're looking at. And so look at the 30 visit list, guys, because, and this is from Pro Football Network. You look at the 30 visits because, again, the 30 visits give you a further insight to who we're probably going to draft. Like DeRon Bland was a 30 visit. You get what I'm saying? So you look at these guys so that you can kind of get an idea of this is who we are looking at. This is who we want to look at further in depth. So I'm definitely like these two offensive tackles. I'm gonna take a look at them because obviously those are probably guys that we might get in the later round, like the 5th, 6th, 7th round. So definitely want to look into these prospects for sure. I don't know.
And I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised to see some of these names because sometimes that's what really could be throwing me off about the draft. Is I'll be looking at certain names. Like I was maybe looking at. I thought maybe they had an eye on Zach Frazier. You know, even. I mean, I know JPJ would go early, but like we mentioned earlier with JC Latham, I figured name like that would be on the list. But even these 30 visits, like sometimes these are guys that I'm not even familiar with. So like,
right, it's guys that you don't even know. It's guys that you don't even know. That's why I'm saying look at it. Look at the 30 visit list because of course there's the popular names, but then you look at the names of those who they're actually taking time to do personal interviews with, work out privately. Because that's like I said, that's going to give you a huge clue. And then also, he hasn't been confirmed yet for a 30 visit, but I do know that the Cowboys have been in contact with Trey Benson. Trey Benson right now is my number one running back in the draft, so they're definitely looking at Trey. Again, it hasn't been confirmed that he's going to be a 30 visit, but they did contact him, and I think they are planning on visiting with him soon. Has Florida State had their pro day? Let me see.
I don't know.
I'm about to look it up.
Jonathan Brooks as well. I know we mentioned him earlier, and Nick Harris tweeted out saying that Jonathan Brooks has a 30 visit schedule. Well, it says that in his tweet he has one scheduled with the Cowboys, so it doesn't say when or if they
when. Yeah, they definitely had their. They already had their pro day. I guess it was today. I don't know. So I guess I don't know. We didn't get reports to see if scouts are out there or not, but I would assume obviously they've scouted them out if they're talking to Trey Benson. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got for y'all today. You know what I'm saying? Gave y'all names, gave y'all insight to Al Harris being hired, gave y'all insight to how we feel about what's going on with the free agency and what's what are we doing? What does it look like we're doing going into the 2024 season? And it does look like we're betting the house on the draft picks. You know what I'm saying? And this is not something that they've really done before. They've never really bet the house fully on draft picks. But I guess they feel like, I mean, because you've got guys that literally have just been sitting on the bench for 3 years.
Exactly.
Like, are you going to give them a chance? I hate that. Like, how you going to be a draft and develop team, but you don't even, a lot of your draft picks, you don't even get on the field.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's been a theme for the past year, but also it's also been in previous years. Like we've seen in months flew to these guys.
It's been previous years.
But we've seen it with Zeke. We didn't see a lot of Pollard when Zeke was
right. We wasn't seeing Pollard. Never saw Jabril Cox. Never saw Devin Harper.
Exactly.
Like, eventually, it's like what the.
And you have to leave these guys to being cut for roster cuts and not being able to see what you can get, especially draft picks. And that's surprising for the Cowboys. Like we know them to love their guys, but
draft picks, right? But they were just cutting draft picks. Yeah, this year and last year they were just cutting the draft picks, and I'm like, it was shocking because we're this draft and develop team. We put all this stock into the draft, but then we just started just cutting our draft picks before they even got a step on the field. Which was crazy. So
I'm not gonna say it started with Ridgeway, but for me, when I started paying attention, when I seen Ridgeway go, and I'm like, usually they hang on to a guy.
Ridgeway, Big Bo, like that's the type of crazy stuff. And it's like, imagine, guys, if we had kept Big Bo and Ridgeway, we wouldn't be worried about DT right now. We would not be worried about it. We would say we got 3 one-takes on the roster right now. See you, Hankins. But it's because we done cut a lot of our depth, so we're like, what the hell are we gonna do? We can only feel it now with free agents. So I don't know. The fact of the matter is, we don't know. No one knows. There are people saying we're tanking. There are people saying we're rebuilding. There are people saying we're retooling. It's all just going on what our roster looks like right now. But the fact of the matter is, we're not gonna know until August. We see how this stuff is shaking out, how it's panning out. Right. And then we'll be able to better determine, how we gonna look going.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see once they get some of these contracts going. I just really want to see. I know the whole talking point is Dak's contract, but I really just want to see CD's contract just being.
Yeah, that'd be great if they could just get CD done, but there's been no talks at all about CD's contract. None.
Like Star said, this is definitely not. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say uncharacteristic, but it's just definitely a weird, especially right now. This is a weird feeling.
It's weird because usually, we sign our guys the first week of free agency.
Right.
And we just didn't do it. So I just don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not Dak. Dak was never holding nothing up. So he was never, the Cowboys had all the discretion to change his cap hit and do all of that type of stuff, work out the extension. Right. Dak is working with it now. So it's just like, I don't know what the holdup is, but we'll see what they do in these next coming weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do. Maybe we'll have new news, updates, next week for off-season convos. But that's pretty much all we got for y'all today.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. You know what I'm saying? Like we mentioned earlier, we know it's the off season, but like I said, we gotta keep the grind going. Before you guys head out in here, like I said, we want to thank you for you guys' time. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the retweet button if you haven't just yet. Like I said, hit the share button if you listen to us on YouTube. Thanks again for your time. And hit our channel individually as well, not just one channel. And subscribe.
Right, like on both channels. Subscribe, please subscribe on both channels. Share the content on both channels. Shout out to those who shared today. Who was it? Big Game James. Shout out Big for reposting it. Shout out DA Lee for reposting it on my channel. So just appreciate everybody for reposting and sharing the content. And hopefully, and y'all on Twitter, y'all gotta stop, or X, y'all gotta stop being what they call lurkers. Yeah, it's like 50 of y'all, but we don't got 50 likes on our video. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. Y'all gonna make me stop putting my stuff on Twitter.
Exactly.
Interact with the content. Like, what's the point of putting it on there if y'all not gonna interact? But anyway.
Right. Yeah, just hit that thumbs up. Just give us a click. Even if you don't want to share right now, don't want to subscribe right now, just give us that like. Just give us that one click. And that'll really take us a long way. We promise you, it'll take us a long way. We appreciate y'all.
Yep, we appreciate y'all. Mickey, I'm gonna head out as soon as we cut off, but love everybody. Thank y'all for rocking with us. Hopefully see y'all next week.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your guys' night.